What if the one person you trusted most, the one who fought beside you, who saved you, suddenly turned against you? Not because of jealousy, not because of greed, but because destiny twisted their path into darkness. It's one of the oldest, most powerful storytelling tropes, the fall of a hero. And no franchise does it quite like Power Rangers. Across decades of seasons, worlds, and morphers, we've witnessed transformations that shocked even the most loyal fans. Heroes corrupted by curses, friends turned by manipulation, entire squads betraying everything they once swore to protect. And each time, it leaves one question echoing through every Ranger's heart. Can you ever trust again when the one wearing your colors turns their blade against you? Today, we're diving deep into the greatest betrayals in Power Rangers history, from tragic downfalls and brainwashed warriors to heartfelt redemptions that made millions of fans tear up. If you love epic storytelling, redemption arcs, and moments that made you shout at your screen, hit like and subscribe right now, because we're about to relive the betrayals that defined an entire generation of heroes. Chapter 1. The Wolf Who Howled for the Wrong Side, Leanbow, Koragg, Mystic Force. Let's start with one of the most emotional twists ever written in the Power Rangers universe. The story of Leanbow, the greatest hero of the ancient war between light and darkness. Long before the Mystic Force era, Leanbow was known as the Wolf Warrior, a protector who sacrificed everything to seal the underworld and save humanity. But the seal became his prison. And from that prison, something evil watched, waited, and whispered. Years passed, legends faded, and when the forces of darkness rose again, a new warrior appeared. Koragg, the Night Wolf. Brutal, unstoppable, loyal only to evil. Fans couldn't believe it when the truth was revealed. Koragg was Leanbow all along. The very hero who had once saved the world had been corrupted by the same darkness he sealed away. That twist didn't just shock viewers, it hit emotionally. Koragg wasn't mindlessly evil. He still carried the honor and discipline of Leanbow, fighting with a strange sense of pride. When his son Nick, the Red Mystic Ranger, faced him, the story became more than good versus evil. It became father versus son, love versus corruption. In the end, Leanbow broke free from the darkness, purifying himself through sacrifice and returning as the Wolf Warrior once more. It was one of those redemption moments that felt earned, the kind of writing that makes fans replay that scene over and over again. What if your greatest hero became your worst nightmare, and only love could bring him back? Chapter 2. The Sister of Light, the Princess of Darkness, Karone, Astronema, in Space, Lost Galaxy. If Leanbow's fall was about corruption through sacrifice, Karone's story was about identity stolen and rewritten. Once upon a time, she was just a little girl from the peaceful planet KO-35. Her brother Andros was a dreamer, a future Red Ranger in the making. But when Karone was kidnapped by the forces of evil and raised under dark influence, her name, her memories, and her very soul were erased. She became Astronema, the Princess of Evil, commanding armies, destroying planets, and fighting the Power Rangers with ruthless precision. Fans loved her complexity. She wasn't evil because she enjoyed chaos. She was evil because she didn't remember who she truly was. But when fate finally forced her to fight her brother Andros, the universe held its breath. Andros couldn't bring himself to kill her, even when she almost destroyed him. His tears, his love, broke through her conditioning, unlocking the memories buried under years of lies. That moment, Astronema fading away and Karone emerging again, is still one of the most iconic redemption scenes in the franchise. Karone didn't just come back to the light, she earned her place as the Pink Galaxy Ranger, proving that redemption isn't given, it's fought for. Raised by darkness, saved by love, the kind of twist that never stops hitting. Chapter 3. The Mind Control Epidemic. When heroes aren't themselves, mind control is one of the most overused tropes in fiction. Yet in Power Rangers, it somehow never gets old. Because here, it's personal. Every Ranger under control isn't just another pawn, they're a reminder of how fragile heroism can be. And few examples show it better than Ollie from Dino Fury and Trent from Dino Thunder. Ollie, the Blue Ranger's betrayal. Ollie was logical, curious, the team's calm center. But when Lord Zedd's forces targeted him, they didn't destroy him. They rewrote him. Through mind control and forced enhancement, Ollie became a darker, colder version of himself, his compassion stripped away. What made his arc powerful wasn't just the fight scenes, it was the confusion in his eyes, the flickers of resistance. Even under control, he hesitated to hurt his friends. When the Rangers finally freed him, Ollie didn't just apologize, he came back stronger, playing double agent to trick Zedd into defeat. Trent, the White Dino's curse. Trent's story begins with curiosity. He stumbles upon a hidden passage and finds the White Dino gem, bonding with it instantly. But that gem had a will of its own. It wanted domination, not justice. The result? One of the coolest villain designs ever, and one of the most haunting character arcs. Trent wasn't evil because he wanted power. He was possessed by it. You could see it in his movements, in the way his voice dropped an octave. The gem amplified his insecurity, turning him into a predator among his own team. When the artifact was finally destroyed, Trent broke free, but the guilt stayed. His redemption wasn't just about being freed. It was about forgiving himself. They didn't choose evil. Evil chose them. But what happens when the curse becomes your identity? Chapter 4. The Mask That Ate the Man. Some Rangers weren't corrupted by sorcery or tech. They were cursed by their own choices. Merrick, guardian of Princess Shayla, wore the wolf mask of Zen Aku to protect his comrades in an ancient battle. The mask granted power, unstoppable, primal strength, but demanded one thing in return: his freedom. Once worn, it couldn't be removed. Merrick became Zen Aku, a dark creature bound to serve evil for centuries. When he was finally unsealed in the modern era, his memories were gone, but fragments of his humanity still haunted him. The brilliance of Merrick's arc lies in those flashes of recognition, moments where Zen Aku hesitates, where a whisper of Merrick surfaces. And when the Rangers finally free him, he doesn't celebrate. He chooses isolation, wandering the earth as a lone wolf seeking peace. His story isn't about good triumphing over evil. It's about living with what you've done, even after redemption. Hook line to next section. Some heroes find light again. Others spend a lifetime chasing it. Chapter 5. Controlled by Steel, when tech becomes the enemy. In another haunting variation of betrayal, Kai and Damon from Lost Galaxy were captured by Deviant and fitted with control collars, devices that hijacked their bodies while leaving their minds awake. That's the nightmare scenario. You can see everything, remember everything. But you can't stop yourself from hurting the people you care about. The tension in those episodes was unbearable. The Rangers didn't want to fight back, afraid of killing their friends. And Kai and Damon's eyes told a story words couldn't. They were screaming inside, praying someone would set them free. When the collar was finally shattered in battle, the moment was explosive, literally and emotionally. It wasn't just a victory, it was relief. Magic fades, curses break. But betrayal from your own hands, that scars forever. Not every betrayal was caused by a spell, a collar, or a curse. Some Rangers fell simply because they wanted to. That's the chilling truth behind the next wave of betrayals. Because when heroes start making the wrong choices on purpose, the story stops being about magic and starts being about human weakness. Chapter 6. The Titanium Lie, a son, raised by a demon. Imagine being told your father abandoned you. Imagine being raised by a monster who swore your family didn't want you, and being handed a weapon to make them pay. That's Ryan Mitchell's story, the only American exclusive Ranger created for Lightspeed Rescue, and one of the most emotionally complex. As a child, Ryan was saved from falling to his death by the demon Diabolico, but the price was his soul. Years later, when he reappears as the Titanium Ranger, his vengeance burns hotter than any fire. He's not brainwashed. He truly believes he's been wronged. The titanium morpher amplifies his hatred. His every strike feels personal. And yet, the first crack appears when he hesitates, when he sees his sister Dana's face through the helmet visor and remembers fragments of the past. When the truth is revealed that his father sacrificed everything to save him, Ryan's world shatters. The rage dissolves. The guilt crashes in. In one of the most cathartic unmaskings in the franchise, he drops to his knees and hands over the morpher, whispering, "What have I done?" That line is small, but it's pure cinematic gold, because true betrayal stories don't end with defeat. They end with realization. Sometimes, the hardest prison to escape is the one built from lies. Chapter 7, When the Elite Abandons Duty, the Fall of A-Squad. Not a curse, not mind control, just pride. The A-Squad Rangers were S.P.D's best of the best, elite soldiers, poster children for what it meant to serve. Until one day they vanished. Everyone assumed they'd been captured in battle. But the truth hit harder than any explosion. They'd switched sides. Why? Because they were tired of following orders. Because they believed they deserved more. Because sometimes the most dangerous villain wears the same badge as you. When Commander Kruger sent B-Squad to investigate, it was like watching siblings fight. A-Squad wasn't corrupted. They believed in their rebellion. They saw Groom's empire as the winning side and wanted a place in it. This betrayal was brutal precisely because it was rational. No spell to break. No mask to remove. Just pure human ego. When B-Squad finally defeated them, it wasn't a victory that felt good. It felt heavy. Because the real question lingered. If they fell, could we? When heroes stop believing in the mission, the uniform becomes just a costume. Chapter 8. Clash of Teams, the crossover that shocked the fans. If you've watched enough Power Rangers, you know the formula. Teamwork, trust, unity. Now imagine all of that, shattered in seconds. The Dino Thunder X Ninja Storm crossover gave fans one of the most chaotic, hype-filled betrayals in franchise history. Lothor, the sly villain of Ninja Storm, captures and brainwashes the 3 core Ninja Rangers, turning them into weapons against the new Dino Thunder team. The result? 11 Rangers, one massive brawl, and a visual feast of color-coded chaos. The brilliance wasn't just in the choreography, it was in the emotional stakes. Seeing beloved heroes fight each other hit different. Even though everyone knew it was temporary, the thought of one Ranger landing a serious hit on another still stung. And when the mind control finally broke, the payoff was euphoric. From slow-motion standoffs to team poses in unison, it was the kind of scene that reminded everyone why we love this show. Sometimes the most iconic fights aren't between heroes and villains, but between heroes who forgot who they were. Chapter 9. The Blueprint for Redemption, Tommy Oliver's Rise. Every Power Rangers redemption arc walks in the shadow of one man, Tommy Oliver. When he first appeared, Tommy wasn't a savior, he was the enemy. Chosen by Rita Repulsa, controlled through the Sword of Darkness, he became the evil Green Ranger, one of the most powerful adversaries the team had ever faced. Fans didn't just hate him, they feared him. He dismantled the team one by one, outsmarted Jason, and nearly destroyed the Megazord. But deep inside, a sliver of good remained, a spark that couldn't be fully extinguished. When the sword was finally shattered, freeing him from Rita's influence, the transformation was unforgettable. The look in his eyes, the mix of shame and relief, became the foundation of every future redemption arc. And when Tommy returned later as the White Ranger, handpicked by Zordon himself, it wasn't just character growth, it was cinematic rebirth. Years later, when he became the Black Dino Ranger, older, wiser, mentoring a new generation, fans realized something. He wasn't just another Ranger, he was the soul of the franchise, the living proof that redemption can outshine any fall. The Green Ranger showed us that no fall is final, and no villain is beyond saving. Redemption's earned, not given. Why do these redemption arcs hit so hard? Because they're earned. Each fallen ranger redeems themselves in a way that feels personal and painful. Let's break down the patterns, the emotional DNA of redemption. 1. Memory trigger. A loved one breaks through the conditioning, like Andros reaching Karone, or Nick calling out to Leanbow. It's love weaponized as salvation. 2. Artifact destruction. The physical symbol of control, sword, gem, mask, or collar, is shattered. Tommy's sword of darkness, Trent's white gem, Merrick's wolf mask. All literal representations of inner corruption being broken. 3. The act of sacrifice. The character chooses pain to prove change. Leanbow gives his life. Ryan faces Diabolico again, knowing the odds. Redemption without sacrifice feels cheap. Power Rangers never made that mistake. 4. Truth and forgiveness. The lies that built the villainy crumble, and forgiveness becomes the final step. Ryan forgiving his father, Karone forgiving herself. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's resolution. 5. Symbolic rebirth. A costume change, a color swap, a new morpher. Visual storytelling that redemption has been achieved. White Ranger, Wolf Warrior, Pink Galaxy. Each transformation is more than cosmetic. It's spiritual. Every redemption is a rebirth, and every rebirth leaves a scar. If you've made it this far, you're officially part of the squad. Hit that like button if you've ever rooted for a fallen hero to rise again. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Because in the next part, we're diving into the ultimate question. Why do betrayals like these hit harder than any villain fight ever could? Why betrayal works. The psychology of falling heroes. There's a reason betrayal arcs stay burned in your memory long after the explosions fade. It's because betrayal is relatable. We've all been disappointed by someone we trusted. We've all seen loyalty tested. When a ranger turns, it's not just about explosions and drama. It's about that tiny fear that maybe one day you could make the wrong choice too. Visually, these stories also hit hard because they use contrast. Bright colors turning dark. Clean, heroic stances replaced with aggressive, feral movement. The music shifts. The lighting dies. Even the morphing sequences feel twisted. Power Rangers may look like a kid's show, but its betrayal arcs are a masterclass in visual storytelling. And that's why fans rewatch them years later, not for nostalgia, but for the emotional craftsmanship. Because in the end, the darkest stories aren't about evil winning. They're about good refusing to die. If betrayal is the wound, redemption is the scar. And scars, as every hero learns, don't fade. They tell stories. For 3 decades, Power Rangers has proven that no fall is final. That even when heroes lose themselves to darkness, the spark inside them never truly dies. It's that message of broken things made whole that keeps generations of fans watching, quoting, and believing. Let's bring it home. Chapter 12. When the Fallen Rise, the Redemption. Montage one by one. The fallen Rangers we've seen across the years appear. Some haunted, some defiant, all scarred. And then, they rise. Leanbow, the wolf, returns. We start with Leanbow, stepping from the shadows of Koragg. The purple glow fades from his armor, replaced with light. He kneels beside his son Nick, whispering words that sound half apology, half blessing. It's the visual definition of redemption, a father reclaimed by love. Karone, the girl behind the mask. Then Karone, the former Astronema, standing amid the ruins of her own making. Her armor shatters like glass as she turns toward the stars, her brother's hand pulling her back into the light. No dialogue, just a look that says, "I'm home." Tommy, the legacy that refused to die. Next comes Tommy Oliver, the Eternal Ranger. Green, white, red, black, mentor, warrior, legend. His story isn't just about fighting evil. It's about forgiving yourself for being used by it. Each time he dons a new color, it's like the universe saying, "You're not done yet." Ryan, the son, redeemed. Cut to Ryan Mitchell, stepping through flames, his titanium morpher burning away the lies Diabolico told him. He turns to face his father, no longer an angry boy, but a man who understands sacrifice. Merrick, the cursed guardian. Finally, Merrick Ballatin, the lone wolf, standing on a cliff at sunrise. No victory pose, no explosion. Just peace. Because some redemptions end not in glory, but in quiet acceptance. The music swells, blending all these faces together. Heroes once lost, now found again. It's not a battle montage. It's a resurrection. They fell to darkness, but darkness never kept them. Because true strength isn't in power, it's in coming back. The anatomy of a redemption arc. Every great redemption story in Power Rangers hits 3 emotional beats. Miss one, and it collapses. Nail them, and you get an arc. Fans will remember for life. 1. The fall must hurt. The betrayal has to shock. It's not enough for a Ranger to turn evil. They must hurt someone we love. When Tommy attacked Jason. When Astronema ordered Andros's death. When A-Squad betrayed S.P.D. Those moments hurt because they break trust, not bones. 2. The regret must be real. A villain's apology doesn't mean much if it's easy. The Rangers who redeemed themselves all faced guilt that lingered. Trent couldn't forgive himself. Merrick chose solitude. Leanbow sacrificed his second chance at life. Their pain is what makes the audience forgive them. 3. The return must inspire. Every comeback is symbolic. A color change, a new morpher, a restored bond. When Karone becomes the Pink Ranger, when Tommy reclaims his power, it's not just redemption, it's evolution. The message is clear. You can always become better than the person you were when you fell. Because in the end, it's not the betrayal we remember. It's the return. Why we love fallen heroes. So why do we love these stories? Why do fans cry for villains who once destroyed worlds? It's simple. We see ourselves in them. We all make mistakes. We all fall short of who we want to be. Watching these Rangers fight through darkness and emerge stronger reminds us that failure isn't the end. It's a step. That's why Tommy's redemption resonates decades later. That's why Karone's transformation from Astronema to Galaxy Pink still trends in fan edits. Because every viewer deep down wants to believe that their own darkness can be turned into something light. It's catharsis, it's therapy in spandex, and it's storytelling at its purest. Maybe that's why we cheer louder for the comeback than for the victory. The franchise that forgives Power Rangers didn't just invent the redemption arc, it perfected it. Across seasons, the show evolved its moral code without ever losing hope. In Mighty Morphin, the message was simple: good versus evil. By Lost Galaxy, it became good can come from evil. By Dino Fury, it was everyone deserves a chance to change. Each generation added layers: psychological, emotional, even philosophical. From external corruption, like mind control, to internal struggle, like pride and guilt, the franchise mirrored the real world's complexity. And that's why, even after 30 years, we're still talking about it. Because Power Rangers isn't just about colors, Zords, or explosions. It's about forgiveness, identity, and the courage to start over. Maybe that's what being a Ranger really means. Not being perfect, but choosing the light every time you fall. If you've watched this far, you're not just a viewer. You're part of this story. Because the Power Rangers have always been about one thing: standing back up. So I want to hear from you. Which redemption arc hit you hardest? Was it Tommy's transformation, Karone's awakening, Leanbow's sacrifice, or Ryan's forgiveness? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be pinning the most powerful ones, because this channel isn't just about nostalgia. It's about storytelling that matters. And hey, if you believe that anyone can rise again, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's keep exploring the legends that shaped our heroes. And through it all, one truth remains. Being a Ranger isn't about never falling. It's about having the strength to get back up again. no matter how dark it gets. So next time you see a redemption arc, remember, it's not just fantasy, it's the reflection of a truth we all live by. Because if they can find their way back from darkness, maybe we can too.